If you have watched my videos for some time, maybe you have noticed that so many of them are about the royals and non-royals, the British royals in this case. And not only here in the Body Language Guide, but also in my other channel dedicated to that topic, the Royal Rogue. And it's easy to imagine that because of that, I have developed a lot of friendships, great friendships with people in the UK, and I get invited to the UK every now and then. But the issue that we have with going to the UK as of late, especially today, that I confirmed that I might be in real trouble if I enter the United Kingdom, because it so happens that Father Ted creator Graham Linehan has been arrested by 5 armed police at the airport for 3 trans tweets. For 3 posts on X. He was so stressed, he ended up in hospital and has now been banned from X by the state. The UK is in deep trouble, and Slippery Stormer lied to Trump and Vance. Our free speech is gone. They essentially told him, you are free to go, but you cannot touch Twitter. You cannot go anywhere nearby the platform. You cannot tweet. You are essentially silenced, censored. That is the condition. It sounds fair. He told the story about all this on his Substack. I already followed him to make sure that I'm updated on his, as soon as he can, as the gag order does not apply. This is out of the UK, I guess. And these are the tweets, just in case if you are curious. 2 of the tweets are this. If a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act. Make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the balls. This is, so many people were saying that this is an actual call of violence on a group. No, this is a call for women to defend themselves, because we are very clear in this, female only space. That is an actual thing, and that must be an actual thing. And no, trans women are not women. Did I say it right? All right. Let me be more clear about that. Trans women are not women. I made that very clear. So yeah, Graham was really on point with this, and also he tweeted a photo you can smell. I guess this was some kind of a protest or whatever from trans rights or something like that. So he was detained at the airport. He was detained, and his blood pressure rose to like 200, and well, that is not good for living a healthy and alive life. So he was taken to the hospital. So I can imagine, from all that I have tweeted, from all that I have said, from all the videos that I made on topics such as, the trans agenda, about immigration, not only about the UK, but any other Western country, about abroadians, not only immigrations, but how abroadians, there's a 2-tier system in the UK that favors abroadians, and racism as well. I can be quite racist at times. Yeah, why not? Most of the time is joking, of course. We Venezuelans, I come from Venezuela, we see it as normal in my country. So, well, I won't apologize for that either. And of course, a bit sexist at times. Won't apologize for that. So you can picture me arriving in the UK at Heathrow. And if you have watched me for some time, as I was mentioning at the start of the video, you know that I'm the kind of guy that if I'm going to the UK, the first thing that I'm going to do, before I even buy the tickets, is I will begin doubling down on the offensive tweets. Just because, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Just in case. Not where we were mentioning Dan Wooten. I reached out to Dan. By the way, I told Dan, if I arrive in the UK and I get into trouble, because I will, let's do something. You will get the exclusive of my incarceration, And in return, I need you to make some noise so I'm not thrown in some kind of medieval jail. So that is important. That is important. So he laughed. I said, okay, let's do this. But I'm seriously, I prefer not to push my luck. I am not pushing my luck anytime soon, especially when you have also people like Lucy Connolly thrown into jail for a deleted Twitter post. Thrown into jail because of that. So many things happening, so many crazy things happening, and especially the way the UK's culture is being deleted with this replacement. And when we say replacement, I couldn't help but to see this. This is outrageous. Yeah, I had to mention the Daily Fail. Woman sexually assaulted by 3 Brits was beaten all over her body during 2-hour ordeal in Croatian beach hotel. 3 Brits. And when you see the names of the Brits, what? Ami Arifi, Gazim Shafa, and Shohiv Shahivi. Are those Gaelic names? Am I missing something? Totally classic British names in it. No, 3 Brits. No, this is just a joke. This is beyond a joke. We have other things that are happening in the UK, and I wish this was material to make memes, but it's not. It's really concerning. For example, all staff working in the National Health Service should be able to speak fluent English, says Rupert Lowe. And I say, isn't that like the obvious thing? If you're a doctor, you need to ask your patient for their symptoms. It would help if you understood English, especially if you're a physician in an English-speaking country. But no, there are MPs as like Adnan Hussain, not surprised by the name. I'm sure the NHS is short-staffed as it is. We should probably be grateful for the people who work for it. You know how the NHS would not be short-staffed? Maybe not. It's not the short staff is not the problem of the NHS. Maybe the UK is overwhelmed with abroadians, so the NHS is overwhelmed with people who have no intention to assimilate to UK culture. And I have made videos about that as well. And I don't know how to say this, but I stumbled upon this post from Radio Genoa. King Charles inaugurates a Islamic center, praises Muslims, and calls on British citizens to greater understanding of Islamic world. It seems like a joke, but it isn't. I instantly said, because you know that there's clickbaity accounts on X that usually they repost things from a long time ago, and I say maybe this is like years ago. This hasn't happened ever since. I don't think King Charles would be doing it at such a, let's say, tense moment of UK history. And it turns out that this was 1 month ago. 1 month ago. Yeah, I check it. You can check it on YouTube. King Charles opens the new wing at Oxford Center for Islamic Studies, and the comments are exactly what you'd expect. So my question is, and I asked the question. It's not a question. The British monarchy ends with William, maybe earlier. And why do I say this? You know that I've been a supporter of what the royal family stands for. Very important. I have said that many times. I support William and Catherine, and I especially support what they stand for. And I would support the king and the queen, especially what they stand for. And my best guess is that they should stand for the United Kingdom, right? That is the idea. That is the idea of the monarch. They stand for the values, for the culture, for the heritage, for everything, the history of the United Kingdom. So what is the real problem here? I want to make it clear something. It's not about Islam itself, because there are so many countries, because there are many of them. I could mention the UAE. In the UAE, which is an Islamic country, you can be a Christian and there's no problem there. You can be a Jewish, there's no problem there. You can live there. They have absolutely zero problem with that. Maybe you can have, maybe you have any amount of misinformation about that, but it is possible to coexist and have a really thriving community, because most important, everybody is obeying the laws. You are Muslim, you have to obey the laws. You are Christian, you have to obey the laws. You are Jewish, you have to obey the laws. You are Sikh, you have to obey the laws. There's not much difference. Maybe the locals, the Emiratis, maybe they have. We could say it's not official. Maybe they could have more rights, but they're the locals. That even makes sense. If you are a visitor in another country, you know why or how you should be behaving. If you are the guest anywhere, you should be behaving in a proper way, especially if you're being welcome in another country, which is not happening in the UK. And that is the main problem with this. It's like Charles keeps pushing this, let's say, religious belief of precisely the majority of Abroadians who have shown no interest in assimilating to UK culture, life, everything. And we know for a fact from so many reports that so many extremists in the UK are Muslims. And even people from Saudi Arabia and the UAE have called them out. If you don't wake up, you will have way more, all of them, all the extremists in Europe, all the Islamic extremists in Europe. That is a fact. That is happening. That's happening right now. So I think this is one of the worst timing I've seen in my life. I mean, you can support the coexistence of many religions. That can be done. That can happen. It's as long as you make sure to enforce the law on every single person, regardless of which country do they come from, regardless of which God do they pray to, regardless of the color of their skin, regardless of what is dangling or not between their legs. If you make sure to uphold the law upon all those people, regardless of all of that, then maybe you can have some order. Maybe you can open an Islamic wing, and new wing of Islamic studies. That doesn't matter. Could be Islamic, could be Jewish, it doesn't matter, as long as you uphold the law in a fair way. But what is happening in the UK? None of that. It's absolute two-tier removal of everything that is British. And I think I took too long to say this. And you know that I've been a bit edgier as of late. I think that this has to be said, and it has to be called out, and it has to be named the way it really is. A replacement, a sanctioned replacement of Britons. That is something that is actually happening, and if you tweet or post or protest against it, you go to jail. So sadly, that is the current state of affairs. So I don't know how to say that properly. That is the state of affairs. That is the current state of affairs. So as long as that is happening, I am not going to shut up about this. I'm going to call out everyone. Keir Starmer, King Charles, I don't care. Every single actor in here has his or her responsibilities. I'm going to call them all on this. They could stop this almost overnight, but they are not interested. It's as simple. And as long as that is happening, I will not be visiting the UK. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language Guy. Much love and bliss.